The saloon doors flung wide with a rusty creak, and Raiden Holt staggered inside, boots dragging, spurs rattling against warped, dusty floorboards. The Rusty Lantern Saloon in Ironwood Bluff was thick with smoke, the sharp burn of whiskey, and the stale scent of sweat. Yet the crowd remained rowdy long past midnight. Laughter mixed with the clink of coins and poker tokens drifting through the hazy air as Raiden squinted through blurred vision. At 29, Raiden was tall and wiry, the sort of cowboy women whispered about and men nodded to with respect. But tonight, the whiskey dulled his normally keen hazel eyes. Dirt streaked his shirt, and his dark curls hung wild beneath a battered trail hat. He looked every bit the worn drifter he was, though beneath the grime a hint of rugged charm still lingered. "Holt!" a booming voice yelled from a corner table. "Get over here! We need fresh pockets in this game!" Raiden swayed, steadying himself against the bar. He'd been drinking since sundown, trying to drown a loneliness that clung to him like a second skin. No matter how many horses he broke or ranch jobs he drifted through, the emptiness always followed. Tonight, with his last few bills tucked in his boot, pride dragged him toward that table. Viper Sloan, a slick gambler with cold, steel-colored eyes, flashed a smile as Raiden dropped into a chair. "Well, well, Raiden Holt, you sure you can even see your cards tonight?" "I can see well enough to take your money," Raiden muttered, though his words blurred together. The cards flew. At first, luck clung to him. Coins piled up, and confidence stirred in his chest. Whiskey made him bold, reckless, but Lady Luck held him close for a time. Then the pile shrank, first slowly, then all at once. By 3 a.m., he had lost everything. His wages, his saddle rifle, even his Mustang gelding. Viper leaned forward, a glimmer of something wicked in his eyes. "One final hand. I'll loan you 100. Winner takes all." Raiden's instincts whispered for him to stop, but pride and liquor drowned the warning. "What's the catch?" "No catch," Viper purred. "Just one promise. If you lose, you do one thing I say. No questions." The table burst with laughter. Raiden hesitated, then nodded. "Deal." The room tightened as cards slapped onto the table. Raiden drew a full house, 8s over jacks. His heart pounded as he slapped the cards down, but Viper's cruel laugh shattered the moment. 4 queens. "Ye lose, cowboy." Raiden felt the blood drain from his face. His stomach twisted as Viper lit a cigar. "Now, about that condition." Raiden swallowed hard. "You're gonna marry the widow Carter, Maribel Carter, by Friday." The saloon exploded with mocking laughter. Maribel Carter was known across Ironwood Bluff, a beautiful young black woman whose husband had died in a mine collapse 7 months earlier. Proud, quiet, resilient. She was the last person anyone expected a white cowboy to be tied to. "You're joking," Raiden choked out. "Not a bit," Viper replied smoothly. "And if you refuse, you'll be known as a liar across the whole valley. Or maybe you'd like to leave Ironwood Bluff forever." Then Gideon Price, the town's greedy banker, stepped forward with a smirk. "I hold the deed to her land. Either she marries you, or I foreclose it. Papers are ready." Raiden stumbled outside into the icy dawn, the echoes of their laughter chasing him. He'd been cornered, ruined by a drunken hand of cards. And now his mistake would drag down a woman who didn't deserve any of it. 3 days later, sober and tight-jawed, he stood inside the little white chapel on the outskirts of town. Every bench was packed, people eager to witness what they called the joke of the decade. The doors creaked open. Maribel Carter walked in. Radin's breath caught. Up close, her beauty was striking. She wore a simple green dress, carefully mended, her dark hair pulled back with care. But it was her eyes, deep, unwavering, filled with both hurt and fire, that trapped him. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "Save it," she said quietly. "We both know why we're standing here. Let's finish this." Reverend Tate rushed through the vows, discomfort all over his face. When he asked for objections, the church roared with laughter. Maribel stiffened but stood tall, strength radiating from her. When the bells finally tolled and they walked down the aisle, arms lightly linked, Radin leaned close, voice low. "A cowboy may have lost a hand, but maybe the story ain't finished yet." Her eyes flicked to his. She searched for cruelty, found none. A tiny nod followed. That night, they rode to Radin's lonely cabin 6 miles from town. The place was rough. A stove, a bed, a table, little else. Maribel stepped inside with dignity untouched. "It's not much," Radin said softly. "I've lived through worse," she replied, setting down her small bag. Her voice was calm, though tension stiffened her shoulders. Radin saw then the pride inside her, the strength that had carried her through grief and hardship. She was no weak woman. She was stronger than many men he'd known. As lamplight flickered, Maribel spread a quilt stitched with bright, intricate patterns passed down from her mother's hands. "That's beautiful work," Radin murmured. She looked at him surprised. "My mother taught me." Later in the dark, Maribel whispered, "This marriage may be forced, but I won't be." "I understand," Radin replied softly. Maybe we can get through this with some dignity intact." Outside, the Wyoming wind moaned across the plains. Inside, 2 strangers lay awake, bound by circumstance, pride, and a cruel bet, unsure of tomorrow. Morning sunlight slipped through the cabin's cracks. Radin woke to the smell of coffee and biscuits. Maribel was already moving, tending the fire. "You didn't have to cook," he said. "I pull my own weight," she answered. "I won't be anyone's burden." Her words stung, but not for the reason she thought. He admired her resolve. They ate quietly at the worn table. When Radin suggested heading into town for supplies, Maribel tensed. "I have enough." "No," Radin said gently but firmly. "What's mine is yours now, even if we didn't choose this." She studied his face, searching for mockery. Seeing none, she nodded. They rode side by side into Ironwood Bluff. Maribel sat tall and confident on the mare he loaned her, her dark curls catching morning sun. Radin stole a glance, surprised by how natural she looked in the saddle. As they entered town, whispers rose. Men muttered. Women stared. Children pointed. At the general store, Mrs. Henderson greeted them with a frosty smile. "Well, Mr. Holt, what a sight!" Radin ignored her tone. "We need supplies." Inside, he guided Maribel to the fabric shelves. "Pick what you need. Don't hold back. Winter hits hard." She hesitated, until Mrs. Alder, wife of Raden's employer, approached kindly. "That cloth won't last. Try the thick brown wool, dear. It'll keep you warm." "Thank you," Maribel whispered, surprised. "You're welcome, Mrs. Holt," Mrs. Alder said warmly. The title hit both Maribel and Raden unexpectedly. Respect for the first time. Trouble followed, though. The butcher refused their cuts, claiming other orders. The feed store clerk muttered about Hawthorne's rules, and at the bank, Gideon Price slithered out, smiling with venom. "Well, well, the happy couple." Raden clenched his fists, but Maribel placed a calm hand on his arm. "Quite content," she said smoothly. "I imagine disappointment isn't easy for you." Gideon's smile faltered. As they left, Raden grinned. That was impressive. "Men like him expect fear," she replied. "Dignity unsettles bullies." The ride home felt easier, almost peaceful. Raden realized she wasn't the humiliation Viper meant her to be. She was something entirely different. That night, Maribel laid out her quilt again, patterns glowing in lamplight. "Your mother made you strong," Raden said quietly. "She did," Maribel answered. 2 weeks later, trouble arrived before dawn. 5 riders circled the cabin, hollering threats. "Holt, we know you've got good horse stock. Come out and maybe we'll leave your shack standing." Raden growled. "You get one warning. Leave." The men laughed. "Maybe we'll take your woman, too. See how spirited she is." Before Raden could fire back, Maribel's shotgun blast shattered the dark. One rider screamed, clutching his shoulder. "The next shot goes through your chest," Maribel roared. "I buried one husband. Don't make me bury another." The thieves circled wider. 2 splashed oil on the barn walls. Raden's horses, his entire future, were seconds from ruin. "Keep them busy," he whispered. Maribel nodded, reloading fast. Raden slipped out the back, darkness hiding him. He ambushed the guard at their horses, knocking him out, grabbing his pistol. Now armed with 2 guns, he advanced. Shots cracked. Raden dropped one rider in the leg, forced another to surrender. Then the earth rumbled. A wall of dust rose, glowing orange in sunrise. "Dust storm!" someone screamed. The thieves panicked, fleeing blind into the swirling brown hell. Raden sprinted to the cabin, slamming the door as the storm hit. The world vanished. Dust hammered the walls. Wind howled like a dying beast. For hours, Raden held Maribel close as the cabin shuddered. Finally, silence. The storm passed, leaving the land buried under dunes of sand. The barn still stood. The animals lived. Raden and Maribel collapsed on the porch steps. "You were brave," he said softly. "I told you," she whispered. "I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor." Raden looked at her then, really looked, and something new stirred in him. Respect, admiration, something deeper he couldn't yet name. Neighbors came by to help repair fences and clear wells. Word of their stand spread. Maribel's courage became a whispered legend. Hands curled, her skin soft, her eyes a perfect mix of both parents.
"What shall we name her?"
Raden whispered.
"Grace,"
Maribel said softly.
"Because that's what she is. A reminder that hope grows even in the harshest soil."
Raden kissed his wife's forehead, heart full. The cowboy who had once lost a foolish gamble had gained a family, a community, and a love strong enough to be told for generations. As the sun dipped over Ironwood Valley, Raiden and Maribel stood together with baby Grace between them, knowing that against all odds, they had not only survived, they had won. Friends, if you're enjoying this story, please make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. I'd really love to know, where are you watching from right now? And what time is it over there?